Good morning. It's Monday, May 26th. And this morning I want to talk about this horrible event that has been going on between the Ukraine and Russia. And I'm talking about that war that has lasted for over 3 years. And Vladimir Zelensky, the president of the Ukraine, has said that the U.S. silence in the particulars about this war has encouraged the Russians to continue attacking. And he said that because the Ukraine has just survived its largest Russian attack to date. At least 12 people were killed in strikes that hit the Ukraine by nearly 300 drones and 70-something missiles. That's the biggest, largest air raid that Russia has put to the Ukraine since this episode in their lives has started. And so Ukraine's president, Vladimir Zelensky, has urged international leaders to increase their pressure on Russia because of this latest episode with strikes. And the targets were large cities in Ukraine. He was deliberately attacking these cities. And of course, he's talking about Putin. And we know that our wonderful President Trump will not say anything against Putin. Putin is his buddy. So every strike that Russia has taken against Ukraine means that the nations of the world have significant reason to sanction Russia. But nothing is being done about it. And the U.S., as one of the world's great leaders, should be leading that position that Russia needs to be taken to task for continuing this war against Ukraine. Russia's dragging out the war, and it continues to kill people every day. And so the world is now on a weekend break of Memorial Day, etc. But the war in the Ukraine continues, and it continues every day and every weekend. And this situation cannot be ignored anymore. The silence of America, the silence of other countries around the world only encourages Putin to take more disastrous actions against the Ukraine. So without strong pressure on the Russian leadership, the brutality of this Russia-Ukraine war will not stop. Sanctions might help, but we don't see anything like that happening. What Ukraine needs is determination of the United States, the determination of European countries, the determination of all those around the world who seek peace should be standing up for Ukraine and applying pressure on Russia and Putin. But we know that our president loves Putin. And if you look at the pictures that have been out over the news wire on the destruction of parts of the Ukraine, these destructive pictures, these pictures of destruction that came about because of the huge overnight Russian drone and missile attack that killed at least 12 people across the Ukraine. Those pictures are horrible. The desolation, the wreckage, the smoke rising from the streets. Poor people standing there looking up at the sky. Just take a look, get online, see those horrible pictures. So Ukraine and Western officials are sure that Russia will once again attempt a large-scale offensive over this summer. Even if they think that Moscow and Russia will get punishing losses, they don't think that is going to stop the Russians from attacking again. There's a deadlock on the ground, and the escalating long-range drone war on both sides is becoming larger. And that doesn't mean you can take over territory using drones. All you do is cause destruction. So Russian and Ukrainian factories are turning out thousands of new drones. And that is more sophisticated than has happened in the past. Moscow has employed big numbers of decoys designed to fool the air defense system. And Ukraine has targeted the bases and factories, including those producing fiber optic cables for the new generation of small combat zones. And Russia's purpose is aimed solely at undermining morale in the Ukraine. And the recent attack of the drones and the missiles have hit apartment blocks, homes, and student dormitories. So when are those two nations going to come together and settle this disagreement? And why isn't the UN and the United States putting lots of pressure on Russia to stop the war? Well, we know that Trump loves Putin, so I doubt that he's going to do anything. But maybe if he just got Putin on the side and nobody knew what he was doing and spoke to him gentleman to gentleman, if that's what I can call those two, maybe he could convince Putin to stop. But I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. And it's a horrible situation. So think about that. Our president not doing what he could do to end the war. And maybe I'm being too harsh on him, but I don't think so. Have a great day, if you can. Bye.